Hi everyone, let's talk about Rush M.D, which again is on Kickstarter right now. Link to the campaign page is in the description. So you'll know if you've seen my videos about real-time games or Kitchen Rush, then I am definitely very much predisposed to like this game, and we absolutely love it. Possibly more than Kitchen Rush, and Kitchen Rush is pretty high up in my top 50. I have to go back and check that. But it's early days, we've only played this a couple of times. It only arrived about 24 hours ago, the prototype of it. But yeah, and it's a prototype version, it's not the final version, so I'm very tentatively saying that. But yeah, just the prospect after these first few plays. So the differences between this and Kitchen Rush, there's still, 4-minute timers, it's patience instead of, meals that you are trying to make. But everything is wrapped in these, like, Kitchen Rush had these kind of mini games that were, they weren't. There were smaller parts of it, but they were there to kind of trip you up a little bit, just get in your way just enough, or halt the cooperation just enough. Like the spice bag in Kitchen Rush is a great way of, you need to remember what's in there, or more importantly, communicate as to what is in there. When you're taking stuff out, you need to communicate that to everybody, and everybody needs to remember that thing in there that they might need isn't there anymore, and they're going to have to go shopping. That kind of thing. There are a lot more in this game, so you have 4 different ways of diagnosing patients, whether it's, just flipping the tokens to try and find the right thing, whether it's changing a pattern on the blood punch board to get the pattern that's on here, doing it with tweezers, of course, to slow you down a bit, rifling through this deck of cards as quickly as you can to find one that hasn't got your patient's bed on the back of it, or balancing your hourglass and the token on top of the patient's bed. It's all a lovely way of, it's I can't really say thematic, medically, of course. If you get any idea of the medical yourself, you're probably laughing at the ridiculousness of this, but it is couched in kind of the concept of, I've seen enough House and Scrubs, and I've been on WebMD, so I'm pretty much a qualified doctor. So I know you have to be still for an MRI. So that's kind of the concept by, balance this thing on something that isn't straight and keep your doctor balancing on it. Thinking of it too literally, it's ludicrous, but, abstracted enough, it works beautifully well as, a mechanism to try and make you be careful in an atmosphere where you're all knocking into each other and causing chaos, but also have it grounded, somewhat in the theme that it's coming from. And, the best part for me is definitely the syringes, where when you need to administer the IV fluids or the blood, you need to take the cap off the syringe. Sometimes you can do it by hand, but if it's in surgery, it has to be done with tweezers because, everything's sterile, everything has to be done perfectly, and you need to pick up the IV fluids and drop them in the syringe, did the wrong colour there, and pop the lid back on again to, administer that thing to the patient and then put it in their bed. Whether you need to do the organs, that needs to be done with tweezers and stuff. It's all a lot of things that, it doesn't feel like, the things are, really funny and definitely have been making us giddy while we have been filling up syringes carefully with these tweezers, or balancing, a pair of lungs between your tweezers to go to surgery with. It does have that gimmicky factor for sure, but I think overall it doesn't feel like that. It's not, you're not trying to balance this big tower of things. It's not, it's got dexterity elements in it, of course, but it's not that much a part of the game. It's not overwhelmingly so. And I think that one thing that we've, again, this is, early days, we've only played it a couple of times, and we've only played with one objective as well, because that's all we've got for now. But the sense that we've got is that it's still, hectic. The 4 minutes goes by in a flash, and your ambition tends to get in the way. You want to meet the criteria, you want to cure as many patients as you can. Doing too many, though, will mean that you trip up. It still has, like, it feels a lot more collaborative than Kitchen Rush did. Even though we're all working together in Kitchen Rush, and we are, we're working together to maitre d' and get the new patients, the new customers in, and we have to collaborate with, the ingredients and stuff. But there is a lot more of going in Kitchen Rush and just finding that what you need isn't there, just because it feels like it's probably at the same speed, but everything feels a lot more hectic and feels a lot faster in Kitchen Rush, and the pressure is on you, and it's pretty much you as well. It's very easy for one person to trip up the whole thing, and end up feeling really bad that they have done that. Here it's a lot more collaborative because, especially, I've only played it 2 players as well, so be a little bit different when you've got more doctors to play with. But in a 2-player game, you've only got 2 doctors, and there are important places that the doctors need to be, and you've only got 1 each there. So just if you're both free with your doctors, it's got to be 1 doctor's there waiting. It's good pointers for these first impressions. You can't see what I'm pointing at there. 1 doctor is going and admitting the patient from the admission section to a bed, and then I have to use my doctor, and I will do an X-ray. And we're waiting now. We can't do, if they need another bit of diagnosis, can't do that yet. If we found out they need surgery, can't do that yet. We need to wait until the doctors are done. So it's a good idea to get some outpatients in, so we only need nurses for them. We can get the new stuff if we need anything stocking up. We can give them their pills or their blood or whatever they need in particular. And yeah, it's all about balancing all of this stuff, but really needing to work together in it and seeing that, I've just done this diagnosis, this patient needs surgery, but we haven't got any lungs in the organ bank. So yeah, I can't do, my doctor's just done the diagnosis. Can your doctor's just about to run out? Can you go and do this? It feels a lot like that. There's definitely that element still in Kitchen Rush, but because there is so much that needs to be done, sometimes people need 2 different diagnoses before they can get any kind of treatment. And you might have multiple patients that need that. It all has to be still kind of frantically done in that 4-minute time frame. But so far, in our limited experience, it's felt like we have to work together a lot more closely than we did in Kitchen Rush. We're still working for that common aim, but we understand that I'm going to be searching through this deck for a little while. So yeah, if you need something, go and find some other things to do for a bit, because my doctor is locked up until I have done this thing. Or we absolutely have to admit the patients. Having the doctors needing to do that is a huge thing standing in your way. That's a huge portion of their time is going to be spent doing that. And it will be interesting. I really do want to play this when we get a chance to next. It probably won't be for a couple of weeks now, but if we can get a good 4-player game of this going, to see how that goes, to see if that keeps up when those extra players are added in, because you could probably split off a little bit and 2 of you do a patient each. I don't think that you can be, I would like to see, all of these beds filled, and, we're trying to, Kanban style, everything ready as soon as it needs to be, everything just flowing at once. But yeah, I really like the kind of the collaboration, the close cooperation that this feels like so far, the feeling that it gives you. And yeah, I've mentioned in the Kitchen Rush thing that Rachel, who was in the video, my girlfriend I play all the games with, and yeah, she doesn't really like Kitchen Rush. She's definitely not got the same threshold for real-time games. Some absolutely loves, but at a certain point of stress, for example, Kitchen Rush, just too much, get a bit scrambled, and that's the worst thing that can really happen to you in a real-time game, even though a lot of the mechanisms in a real-time game are trying to trip you up so that it has that difficulty in you. But yeah, having said that, she won't play Kitchen Rush because I am so obsessed with it. But yeah, haven't had that problem at all yet in Rush M.D. And I did mention in the playthrough that we played with an easier objective, so maybe realising in round 3 that you've met all of the criteria and now you just have to not make mistakes to lose your medical points, that's going to make it feel a little bit, it's going to make you breathe a little more easily, isn't it? That you haven't got that hanging over you. But yeah, I don't know how many times I need to say it. It's early days. Don't listen to what I'm saying. The playthrough is there to give you a better idea. I'm pointing not even on camera anymore. The playthrough is in the description if you haven't seen it. That'll give you a much better idea of what is going on in a prototype of Rush MD. I really can't wait to... I want to be back when it's dangerous having something pointing in your hand. I really want to come back to this when the final game comes out and we have all of the... whatever they're adding in the Kickstarter campaign, but all of the final stuff laid out to show you that. Maybe we'll do another playthrough at some point. It's hard to find time for a Rage to be in them, though. Anyway, that's Kitchen Rush. No, it's not Kitchen Rush. I say that every time. It's Rush MD. Kitchen Rush is on the channel as well, though. You should check that out if you haven't seen it. I'm going to go now and probably collapse in the heat. Bye, everybody.